90.1 proudly welcomes you to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bytes. Call the show now at 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415 or soundbytes.org. Now, alongside Steve Ray and Dave Enright, here's Nick Francesco on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all the chips in the PC. It is Saturday, the 10th of November, Anno Domini 2018, and you lucky people, you're listening to Soundbites. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And it's 6 minutes after the hour. We're going to be very quiet, Steve Ray. We're going to be bringing you news, views, things to choose, nothing to lose. Kick off your shoes. Don't get the blues.
I have to admit.
Here comes the news. Google is promising to punish sites that offer what the company calls abusive experiences. Chrome 71, due for release in December, will blacklist sites that are repeat offenders and suppress all advertising on those sites. The behaviors deemed abusive cover a range of user-hostile things such as ads that masquerade as system error messages, ads with fake close boxes that actually activate yet another ad when they're clicked, phishing, and malware. In general, if an ad is particularly misleading, destructive, or intrusive, it runs the risk of being deemed abusive. Chrome already takes some actions against certain undesirable web behaviors. It tries to block pop-ups, it limits autoplay of video, it blocks certain kinds of redirection. These measures have been insufficient to prevent misleading or dangerous ads, hence Google is taking further steps to banish them from the web. Google has a tool to let site operators check if their sites are deemed abusive, and the company will give them 30 days to remedy any problematic ads. Chrome users can also override Google's ad blocking should they choose to. While we suspect that a large majority of web users will be glad to see less of this kind of advertising, the company's decision to act this way is sure to concern those who are wary of the outsized role Google plays on the web. Google's Chrome browser is the most widely used browser on both mobile and desktop, by a significant margin. This gives the company considerable latitude to shape the way the web develops. The web may well be a better place without this kind of advertising, but should it really be the job of one company to ensure that? So our poll of the week, it's soundbytes.org. That is Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you. Chrome will block ads on abusive websites. Your choices are, finally, could be good, that's problematic, who does Google think they are? And can I turn it off? So far, we've got 29 votes. And finally is in the lead, followed closely by can I turn it off? Now, I know you're going to have more to say about this. So if you scroll down on the right under fascinating stuff, the first link is the forums. The second forum down is the poll discussion. Currently, at least, the first poll discussion is 10 November 18, Chrome will block ads on abusive sites. So if you want to join that discussion there, that's great. You can also, of course, give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-0415. It's an interesting issue. Google is kind of trying to make the internet safer, get rid of a lot of the ad spam that's out there. That's very nice. But they are so powerful that anything they do resonates through the entire industry.
It's a double-edged sword.
Right.
There was one thing they tried to do a couple of weeks ago, removing the www in front of all the web addresses.
Right.
A lot of times it's not needed, but many times it is. And so they did Chrome. If you're using Chrome, they just decided, all right, we're just going to ignore that. And apparently a lot of websites broke.
Yep.
So they put it back. But they're still going to remove the M dot for a mobile site. And a lot of people are complaining about that, too. If you want the mobile site, you go to M dot or mobile dot something.
Right.
So how about Chrome? You just leave the stupid address alone.
Well, there's a thought. I don't know that that's the kind of thought that Google themselves would care about. But
yeah, Apple will hide all the rest of the gobbledygook after the slash, but it leaves the whole domain name there.
Right.
Because you usually don't need it to see, and you can turn that off if you want. So
right.
on Safari.
Yeah, and Chrome currently is about 70% of all browsers.
Yep.
Of all browser use is through Chrome, which leaves Firefox, Internet Explorer, Safari, Edge, Opera, and everybody else crowding into that 30%.
And that's because Chrome is the default browser on all Android machines.
Chrome is the default browser on Android machines. It's the default browser on Chromebooks, of which there are 100 gazillion of them.
And it's a very popular alternate browser on Windows and Mac.
Right, and the number one use of Edge and IE is to download Chrome. So that's actually true. A lot of Mac people use Safari, but it's still only about 5%. Of web traffic, and a lot of Chrome people use Google too. Use Chrome. A lot of Mac people use Chrome as well. So it's inordinately powerful as a browser, which makes Chrome inordinately powerful as the gateway to the internet for 70% of the people on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
just not here in the U.S. Folks. The web goes a lot farther than that.
Right, as we've often said, pay attention. It's the World Wide Web. The hint is in the title. But yeah, so it's a real, it's a serious issue, and I don't know that there's a solution for it. We talk about in many industries they talk about a natural monopoly. The gas and oil and things like that are kind of an electricity, a natural monopoly. I don't know that that's a true thing, but it's what people talk about. Chrome has become, and it's not, yes, it's Google's doing in that they put out an excellent product, but people use it because it's an excellent product. And I'm not entirely sure that constitutes them intending to put, I don't know, anyway, whatever.
Well, it's no problem if they work with the standards body committee and propose a standard. But when they just unilaterally say, this is how we're going to do it, and that kind of becomes the standard because the biggest browser's doing it, no, go to the standards committee and let other people talk about it. There have been some interesting hits back against Google in the Mozilla blog about, well, we don't want to do that in Firefox. Really? You're going to do that in Chrome?
Yeah. Everybody's got a different way of doing, different idea of doing it. One of the problems that Google is trying to solve, and they're doing it kind of heavy-handedly, is that a lot of people blame them for all of the ad problems, because Google is also an ad company.
And the irony is that their website, the search page, is no ads.
No ads.
They don't need ads on their own page. They make ads on everybody else's page.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the reason I like the Google page.
Right. And one of the issues that they're having, of course, is that people are using ad blockers, which means they don't make money, which means I don't make money, but it also means they don't make money. So one way to fix that is to make sure that their browser kills only the real annoying ads.
And how do you programmatically, with an algorithm, decide what's an annoying ad?
I understand that, but the point is that's what they're working toward.
Yep.
So that people will not run an ad blocker because they don't see any of those horribly annoying ads.
But they still see ads.
Right. But they still see ads. So it's a tough row for them to hoe to, and I get that. All right, to the phones. Batman, to the phones. Robin, our first caller is Brian from Gates, New York. Hiya, Brian. What's up today?
Not bad, gentlemen. How are you guys doing so far?
So far,
okay. I succumbed to the propaganda or encouragement of a friend of mine to replace my dying old tower with a Chrome box.
Right.
And with the help of this good friend of mine, it came up and running, and it's doing okay. I'm getting used to it. I've been a Windows user since 3.
Right.
7 and 10. I skipped the other ones.
Let me clarify. That's Windows 3, not when he was 3.
Right, something like that.
When he was 3, we were still using chisels and stone.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But anyway, it's up and running, and I'm getting used to it. At the same time, the print heads on my HP printer died, so it means a new printer. I get a new printer. After some tribulation, I get it installed. I try and use the scanner. HP doesn't like Chrome. I can't find a compatible HP connection, driver, or whatever to make the scanner work correctly. Any suggestions?
Oh boy.
I haven't tried that yet because
According to HP, you use the embedded web scam.
Yeah, but it doesn't work on Chrome.
Is this one of those HP all-in-ones?
I'm sorry, HP what?
All-in-ones. It does
Yeah,
printing
yeah.
and faxing and yada
Yeah,
yada
right,
yada
right,
yada,
right, right.
yada, yada, yada.
It's you have to you do it backwards.
Yeah.
So in the browser, you go to the IP address of the printer.
Yeah.
And there should be a web scan.
Not scam.
Not scam.
Yeah.
That's what scam really
that's
is.
what it sounded like you were saying.
entirely.
Yeah.
This is a scam.
It has to be a feature built into that printer.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But
So
it
I go to
looks-
the IP address and look for that.
Yeah. I'll post a link from HP's website.
Okay.
Yeah, it shows you how to do it. Most of them.
Scan to a USB card if the scanner has a USB card on it. You scan to that and then bring that in, or scan to the cloud. Many HP scanners are also cloud capable, so it will scan to the cloud, or scan to email.
Right, and then you can move it where you want. You want it to either as email or to print it or to
Right,
And-
right, right.
archive it right from there.
Yep, and many HP printers also have a Google Drive app, so you can scan to your Google Drive.
Oh,
Oh, that's a pretty neat article. There's no date on it though. I wish not at the top and not at the bottom. I wish
hate
they
it
put
when
dates
there's
on
no
this.
date.
Yeah. So
You don't know how
but
current
it
that
does say
is.
Chromebook computer, so it's fairly
Yeah.
good Chromebook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
within the year.
So
at least.
what? Yeah, like he says, one of the things you can do is set it up, and you may have to. I'm sorry. I hope you're sitting down. You may have to read the manual.
I've tried.
Yeah.
Or-
to see how to set up a
Worst case, return that printer and get one that supports web scan.
right.
I think this one does, but I don't know what I'm looking for, so it makes it a little tougher.
Right, but this article will help.
Okay.
Steve will post
Second
that
thing.
shortly. Yeah.
I always use Mozilla Thunderbird for my email servers on
Sure.
Windows. Worked great. I loved it. What I get when I load it here onto Chrome, I get my window with my mail in it, but on the left side is a huge bar. On the right side is a huge bar. And then on the bottom, there's all my Google apps, none of which I want because I can't read my mail. It's too small. There's no way I can't find a way of changing the screen settings so I can eliminate those sidebars.
Okay. Oh, yeah. The one with the task and keep and all of that stuff. Under settings. Yeah, give me a second. Under settings. There is a way to do it. I just have to find where it is. There is a way to do it.
Command. Well, what is it on the there's no command. There's no Windows. Is there a Google key on the Chromebook keyboard to do the plus and minus to make text bigger and smaller?
Yeah, control. I think it's left
side?
bracket.
Isn't it the plus sign?
Yeah, but there's usually you have to do a control or option first to plus to make it bigger, minus to make it smaller.
Yeah, I thought.
That I can do. Because on the left side, there's a zoom button, two great big plus and minuses.
Yeah.
And that will change the resolution
Right.
after I get free internet speed test. But it doesn't make it I can't see the entire frame. On the left side, I can't get to see my folders. On the right side, it doesn't. I can't move it so that it's centered, and it's so tiny I can hardly see it.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I can't figure out where that. I said it. Hold on. Stay on the line.
Okay.
We got to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, Brian from Gates, and you. It is 20 minutes after the hour. It is Soundbites. It is member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Ready to become a member of Jazz 90.1? It's easy to do, and it feels so good. Just call 966-5299. That's 966-JAZZ, or pledge securely online at jazz901.org. And remember to check if you work for a company that matches donations. This could double or even triple your pledge. Anytime is a good time to become a member of Jazz 90.1.
Hi, my name is Jeff Harris. Join me every Sunday, 5 to 7 p.m. for Big Road Blues. Big Road Blues is an exploration of vintage blues from the 1920s on up. Each week we examine different themes and aspects of the blues, playing both classic and forgotten blues greats from the past. That's Big Road Blues every Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Did you know that Greece Central School District is the only district in Monroe County without lighted athletic fields and one of 2 without synthetic turf fields? The Reimagine Greece proposal would change that by adding a lighted field and synthetic turf playing surfaces at every school. Learn more about the proposed athletic improvements and other project components at greececsd.org, and don't forget to vote on December 4th.
Let's talk about America. Not taxes or tweets or the issues that divide us, but how incredible our country is. Whether you come home to a crowded city street or sleepy small town, everyone deserves to live in a clean, green, and thriving community. We are Keep America Beautiful, the nonprofit working with millions of people like you to end littering, improve recycling, and beautify communities. Learn more at kab.org. Together, we can do beautiful things.
Official WGMC contest rules are available online at www.jazz901.org.
Hi, my name is Jeff Harris. Join me every Sunday, 5 to 7 p.m. for Big Road Blues. Big Road Blues is an exploration of vintage blues from the 1920s on up. Each week we examine different themes and aspects of the blues, playing both classic and forgotten blues greats from the past. That's Big Road Blues every Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Robot lumberjacks? Tell me more. This is Sandra Tinglow with the Lowdown on Science. Lumberjacking is dangerous work for humans. How about for chainsaw-wielding robots? There the problem is power. Climbing gobbles energy, as does holding robots vertically in place. So most climbing bots need huge batteries. Inspired by human climbing techniques, robotics engineers from Japan's University of Gifu had an energy-saving idea. Lumberjacks inchworm up trees using movable ropes. With a rope encircling them and the tree, they lean away from the trunk, pressing their feet against the tree. Friction holds them aloft. Imitating this, the engineers mounted a chainsaw on a wheeled ring. The ring snaps around a tree trunk. A controller presses the lower wheels against the trunk. The bot's own weight holds it in place. Power it on, and the wheels roll up the trunk. Meet a branch, engage the chainsaw. Whizz, all using minimal power. Is a Japanese giant chainsaw robot monster movie next? Sawzilla? Dare to dream.
The Lowdown on Science is produced by LDOS Media Lab in partnership with the University of California Irvine Science Communications and 89.3 KPCC. On the web at LOHDOWNonscience.org.
This is Sandra. Follow us on Twitter at LOHDOWN.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
A blast of wintry weather for western New York and the Finger Lakes this weekend, complete with lake-effect snow for the day today, especially west and southwest of Rochester. Accumulations on the order of 2 to 6 inches from western Monroe to Wyoming County, the highest amounts into Wyoming County. Everyone dealing with the chill with highs in the mid-30s, wind chills at times in the upper teens, and we'll have gusts of wind on the order of 40 miles per hour. Tonight brings patchy clouds and starlight, the overnight low in the mid-20s with a few flurries, some more flurries. Sunday, variably cloudy, highs in the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got partly cloudy skies, 35 degrees out at the airport and 37 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, I'm Jim McGrath, host of the Blues Spectrum. I hope you can tune in this Sunday evening from 7 until 9 for some of the best blues around here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 25 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites, and we're talking to Brian from Gates, New York. Brian.
Yes, sir.
Are you sitting in front of Gmail right now?
Yes, I am.
In the upper left corner are those 3 little lines, the hamburger menu. Click on that.
I'm in the settings bar, right?
I don't think it... Well, no, be an email itself.
Oh, okay.
Click on the word Gmail.
Yeah.
And that brings that back up.
Yeah.
And now click on the little.
Well, I'm in Mozilla. All right.
Okay, but you're in Gmail, yeah? You're on the Gmail website?
No, I'm in Gmail. I'm in Mozilla. OfficeDocs.com.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. In your Gmail, when you open your Gmail,
Yeah.
in the upper left corner will be the three little bars, what used to be called the hamburger menu.
No, whatever I'm in, it ain't what you're looking at.
Are you at gmail.com?
No.
That's why.
That's why. Okay.
Right. So along the bottom of your Chromebook, you will see a bunch of icons. One of which is an envelope with a red M in it.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Right.
Click on
right.
that.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Now, all right. Now I'm in the little hamburger thing.
Yeah.
And I'm in my mail.
Okay, you got your mail. Click on the little hamburger thing.
I did.
And did it shrink everything down on the left?
No, it's just I've got a white box in the middle, which has my email in it.
Right.
This is a different screen from the one on Mozilla.
Okay, then you're not actually in Gmail on the other screen.
Correct.
Go back to Mozilla. How are you in Mozilla on a Chromebook?
I found an app that said load Mozilla in Chrome.
Well, Mozilla what? Mozilla Firefox, the web browser?
Yeah.
And you're trying to use Firefox to go to Gmail.
Well, that's what it said it would do.
Yeah, I don't know what that...
No, my Mozilla account is the one that I was using on Firefox before.
Right.
All right? And I loaded Mozilla figuring it would be the same program, and it's not. So that's where I'm...
Yeah, honest, I've never even seen that before. I got to be honest with you. I've never even seen Firefox. I know you can do it. I've just never seen it.
Mm.
So are you looking to get to your Mozilla email or your Gmail email?
The Gmail one I can get. It's I use the little icon on the bottom. Yeah, it's right there. And I get...
I didn't know Mozilla offered email.
What can I tell you?
What's the email address?
It's my my Roadrunner account.
What? Yeah, but what does it say at the top of the screen where you normally type in the URL? What does it say there?
Right now in mailgoogle.com.
Yeah, okay. On the other one.
On the other one.
The one you're having trouble with.
Gmail.com.
Yeah, you can tell Gmail to pick up your Roadrunner mail if you want to.
Yeah.
Or you can use the Roadrunner webmail page to do that as well. You don't need to use Firefox.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the inbox is Mozilla Thunderbird.
Oh, Thunderbird. You're using Thunderbird on Chrome.
Right.
Oh, that's different yet.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry. I just apparently was confused as to where you actually were.
If I told you, I'd know.
Right.
So Thunderbird on Chrome looks pretty much like Thunderbird on Mac to me.
Yeah, except for these sidebars. One says File Manager, the one on the left, and has some great big googly zoom buttons and a bunch of other things about clipboard and mouse controls. On the other side, it's Home and has download PDFs and things like that. If I go back to Home, it's File Manager or something.
Yeah, it looks like there's a... Whoops, I lost it. There's a gear menu to get into settings, and it's probably somewhere in those settings where you change what you want.
You know, I can't move. Like I say, I can't move around that center screen to find anything like that.
It's not in the center screen. It's on the right screen on the picture I'm looking at. Or there's the 3 hamburger bars in the center screen.
On the right.
Yeah.
And there are settings there, and that's for the Chrome box, but it has nothing to do with...
Right, you're looking in the wrong place. The problem is we have a Chrome box which has a bunch of settings.
Right.
We have Chrome browser which has a bunch of settings. We have Gmail, which has a bunch of settings.
Settings. I never know which one I'm in.
And right, and we have Thunderbird, which has a bunch of settings. So the problem is you have to know which one you're in, and you have to be in the right one. And I don't know that we can do that over the phone.
Yeah, okay. I'll get out of your way.
Try Googling it.
Well, you know, or call your friend up and have him come over.
Yeah. Last thing, Nick, real fast. I got 2 thumbs up from Joe.
Oh, excellent. I was going to ask. Good.
Yeah, they're about 15 miles from where the worst of the fires are.
Oh,
and
good.
The wind's blowing away from them, so they're not in too bad shape right now.
Excellent. Excellent. Good to know. Thanks.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Talk to you later, guys.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. Bye-bye. His son is in California near the wildfires.
Ah.
New baby, et cetera, et cetera. So, so that's good. But yeah, the issue with any of these things is, and I probably should
just install Thunderbird while you're at it.
Thunderbird. Why not? I'm here. I might as well do it. It's the Chrome web store, so I might as well do it. See what happens.
Okay.
But if it's the sidebars in Thunderbird that you're trying to change, then you have to find the settings for Thunderbird. And on the picture I saw on the Chrome store, there was the 3-line hamburger menu where you could go into the settings for Thunderbird.
Right.
And it's in the Thunderbird window, not in the Chrome window.
Right. Ooh, AuffieDocs. AuffieDocs.com. Would you like?
Or the other thing to do is just tell Google to pick up your Roadrunner mail and use it on the Gmail website.
Yeah.
That would be better.
Yeah, you can make life easy.
I don't know who AuffieDocs is, and so I'm not going to go there anymore. But yeah, apparently you can do that. And
in your Gmail mail settings, there is an option to pick up mail from other accounts. It's under the Accounts tab. And so you can read mail from other accounts and reply right in Gmail. If you want, you can also make a label so that all of your Roadrunner mail is labeled Roadrunner, so you can tell who it's coming from and which mail is coming from Roadrunner and which mail is coming from Gmail.
But you can read multiple email accounts with Gmail, and that may be the easiest thing to do at this point. Anyway, back to the phones. Our next caller is Smiley from Rochester, New York. Hi, Smiley. What's up?
Well, I got a quick question for Steve. Are you going to be sending out notices when Mojave is fit for human consumption? You sent a notice out that warning people not to install it because it's not quite ready. There was a whole bunch of arrows still flying.
Yeah, we probably will. We generally recommend people wait for the first update. So the 14.1 update has come out, and we're still testing and making sure. We had a lot of people come in with upgrade problems where the upgrade would fail, and then your computer doesn't boot because there's, in essence, no OS on it. I broke down and finally installed 14.1 on my own computer, and it worked okay. One of the things that we've seen is that a lot of the Macs, especially if you're running 1012 or 1013 already, will have pre-downloaded it for you, and it's probably the 14.0. So we'll probably have people tell them to delete that 14.0 download and go get the 14.1. So instead of installing 14.0 and then the 14.1 on top of it, just go straight to 14.1.
Okay.
And
yeah, because I don't run mine all the time. I just run it for updates and that because I mainly run Linux.
Yeah.
Right.
And
and upgrades like that don't complicate problems like they do on Mac and Windows.
Right.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know, buddy.
Yep.
Thanks, Smiley.
All right, have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
It's probably safer than it was now that the 0.1 patch is out. But you want to make sure, just like in Windows, that all the programs you use are compatible. The Quicken 2017 I use says it's compatible, even though 2019 is out now. They're still supporting 17, which is handy. Because now
Quicken is in the future.
Yes. And it's subscription only, so you can't download a standalone copy and pay once for it. But Quicken and QuickBooks tend to be very fragile about new OSs. If you run a virtual machine like Parallels or Fusion, they're pretty fragile about new OSs. So you want to check the websites for the companies you use to see if they have any updates. And in a minute, I'll post, there's a website called Roaring Apps that tracks compatibility back when the Mac OS used Roaring Cats.
Oh, right.
So, but now we're in California Landmarks, and I guess, well, Roaring Apps is still the brand name that we knew. Maybe they'll change their name.
As opposed to like Laid Back Apps?
Laid Back, yeah. Now we're in the desert. So we were through the mountains for a while with Yosemite and El Capitan and Sierra. Now we're in the desert with Mojave.
Yep.
And that's the first thing you know. People pronounce it wrong. It's Mojave.
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 Mojave or Mojava. I heard somebody say that. I said, there's not even an A on the end. How do you?
Yeah, it's an E on the end. Yeah.
All right. On Tuesday, Microsoft released ADV 180028, guidance for configuring BitLocker to enforce software encryption. In response to a clever crack published on Monday by Carlo Mehier and Bernard van Gastel at Radboud University in the Netherlands. The paper explains how an attacker can decrypt a hardware-encrypted SSD without knowing the password. Due to a flaw in the way self-encrypting drives are implemented in firmware, a miscreant can get all of the data on the drive, no key required. The security researchers explained that they were able to modify the firmware of the drives because they could use a debugging interface to bypass the password validation routine in SSD drives. It does require physical access to an internal or external SSD, but researchers were able to decrypt hardware-encrypted data without a password. The researchers write that they will not release any details in the form of a proof of concept for exploit. Microsoft's BitLocker feature encrypts all the data on a drive. When you run BitLocker on a Windows 10 system with a solid-state drive that has built-in hardware encryption, BitLocker relies on the self-encrypting drive's own capabilities. If the drive doesn't have hardware encryption or you're still using Windows 7 or 8.1, BitLocker implements software encryption, which is less efficient, but still enforces password protection, and so far at least can't be bypassed. The hardware-based software encryption flaw seems to be present on most, if not all, self-encrypting drives. Microsoft's solution is to unencrypt any SSD that implements self-encryption, then re-encrypt it with software-based encryption. Performance takes a hit, but data will be protected by software, not hardware. Are you using BitLocker? Think you're safe? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-0415.
So that implies that BitLocker didn't enforce its encryption.
Well,
why the heck would you make an encryption program that didn't enforce the encryption?
Well, it relied on the hardware force, of which there is none.
Yeah.
When you encrypt it with the built-in hardware encryption, it is, of course, fast. Now, the whole reason you bought an SSD was because you wanted it to be fast. So you end up with hardware encryption that works very quickly and is, in fact, secure in most circumstances. But if you have access to the hard drive physically, it can instantly be broken. Now, most of you don't bother with any kind of encryption on your hard drives. And those few of you who do think nobody's ever going to get hold of my system. But if you've got data on that system that is that important, and you've got it hardware encrypted, and somebody steals that laptop, it's like you didn't bother to encrypt it in the first place. We're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes. Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you, 39 minutes after the hour. Soundbites, member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbytes.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
The Greece Central School District is pleased to present Parent Universities, free informative programs that aim to empower parents as partners, advocates, and lifelong teachers in their child's education. The next university, open to all Greece parents, takes place Wednesday, November 14th at 6 p.m. and addresses disproportionality in education with guest speaker Dr. Emily Jones. The Parent University takes place at Greece Olympia School Cafe. For more information, you may visit greececsd.org.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Greece Odyssey Academy Music and Drama, presenting the Greece premiere of Disney's Aladdin Jr. at the Odyssey Academy Auditorium, 750 Maiden Lane. There are performances on Saturday, November 17th at 3 and 7 p.m., as well as a 2 o'clock matinee performance on Sunday, November 18th. Advance sale tickets are available at Wegmans or online at showtixforyou.com, and tickets can also be purchased at the door.
I'm a veteran. We hit a mine in Vietnam.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory's been never giving up hope.
DAV helps veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I finally admitted, with my PTSD, I wasn't doing well.
So veterans can reach victories, great and small.
Now I wish I'd found DAV sooner. My victory is just enjoying each day.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Has your child swallowed your medicine, your laundry detergent, your nail polish remover? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you inhaled paint thinner, glue, pesticides? Call the Poison Helpline. Have a question about a dose, a fume, something your kid just drank? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. You can recover. It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
The world is a beautiful place again.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues Radio on the net hosts a show called At the Crossroads, an hour of the very best in blues. I'm your host, Brad Zwicker, and the program airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, live streaming at jazz901.org. With classic cuts, 2-song spotlights on new releases, and lots of great music, ATC is all about the blues and nothing but. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time at the Crossroads, live streaming at Swing and Blues Radio at jazz901.org.
Jazz 90.1 weather.
A blast of wintry weather for western New York and the Finger Lakes this weekend, complete with lake-effect snow for the day today, especially west and southwest of Rochester. Accumulations on the order of 2 to 6 inches from western Monroe to Wyoming County, the highest amounts into Wyoming County. Everyone dealing with the chill, with highs in the mid-30s, wind chills at times in the upper teens, and we'll have gusts of wind on the order of 40 miles per hour. Tonight brings patchy clouds and starlight, the overnight low in the mid-20s with a few flurries, some more flurries. Sunday, variably cloudy, highs in the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got a few clouds out there, 35 degrees at the airport and 37 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Howdy, folks. This is Dan Gross. You can listen to me Mondays 6 to 8 p.m. here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm David Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 44 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. We were talking in the break. Jason from Altoona, PA, was texted us something
there it is.
About a menu. And we were also talking about how you can install pretty much any of the old versions of Windows, even Windows 1.0, in VirtualBox. And I discovered you can download essentially a copy of the entire operating system of Windows 95 and install it on Linux or a Mac, and it just runs. And I did that the other day, and I have to be honest, I giggled like a schoolgirl the whole time I was playing with it.
We must have talked about it before, because my link is purple.
There you go. We must have at some point. But it was pretty cool. You can also do that on Windows, by the way. Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. You can just essentially it's essentially an app that is Windows 95.
So if you really want to run Minesweeper,
and don't want to download one of the 7 billion Minesweeper clones that are out there.
Yeah, really. Got to have the original.
Right,
the authentic original, yep.
Right. And you get to see all the way it looked back then. It's very cool, actually.
I remember because Windows came out, and I was also using a Xerox product add-on to doing charting. I forget the name of the program, but we're creating charts and that type of stuff. And somebody said, yeah, that was Xerox's early attempt to do something like Windows.
Well, a lot of the early Xerox Star, every little function was an add-on program. Everything was objects. So you had the OS, and you wanted to have a word processor, you installed that. You wanted a spell checker, you installed that. That was one of the neat things about it, that you got this very bare OS that was lean and quick, and you install whatever you want on it without needing, to have it overwhelmed with junk.
Right, and let's not forget the entire Mac and Windows and Linux interfaces all came out of the Xerox Star. Yeah. That was the original one from which all the other companies stole the look and feel of that front end.
Yeah.
So you used to be able to run the Xerox Alto and the Xerox, I want to say Star, and there was another one.
I wish I could remember the name of the program that I used.
And it had everything. It was the very first operating system with a mouse. Doug Engelbart designed the mouse.
Worked
at
with it.
Park. It had windows. It had menus. It had fonts. It had everything we still use today. Xerox invented. The folks at Xerox Park invented. Of course, unfortunately, they didn't have clue one what to do with it. But they invented it, and that's the big thing. So yeah, you could do stuff like that. I had a friend when I was at the computer center walked in one day and he said, "Have you ever seen the laser printers on a Xerox Star?" I said, "Yeah, they're amazing because you could print like it looked like what you were getting on the screen. It was WYSIWYG, fonts and sizes and everything else." He said, "Yeah, I just got hired to build that at Apple."
Yep.
And then a year later, out comes the laser printer. Laser writer
using Adobe PostScript.
Right, and it was pretty cool. And of course, and he said, "You're going to love the language we're writing in. It's basically Forth." And he's right. The PostScript is the laser writer language is essentially Forth, and it was pretty cool. The fact that they just and he was at Xerox. They just grabbed him. Said, "Why don't you come do that for us?" And
there's a interesting story from Bill Atkinson, who wrote a lot of the interface elements for the Lisa and the Mac. They were able to take a tour of Xerox Park and look at this stuff, and it was that famous revelation with Steve Jobs saying, "This is the way we're doing it now."
Right.
And the Star had overlapping windows, and when you moved a window, you could see the window underneath it. And we take that for granted now.
Right.
And so Bill went back to his programming and spent weeks trying to get this overlapping window thing to work right, so he could move a window and you could see the window under it. And then years later, he went back and they were talking with some of the original Star guys and said, "So, well, how did you get those overlapping windows to work?" So you could see, "Oh, we didn't. We just repainted the whole screen."
Yeah.
And so Bill is doing these rectangles. He's breaking the overlap down into a rectangle and a mask and the alternate shape that the window becomes when it's getting blacked out. And so he had overlapping windows where you move the window and the other window is still there.
Right.
No, we just repainted the whole screen.
Right. He didn't know you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So he did it.
Yeah. Hey.
Yep. That's the way the world works.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. But yeah, it all came out of Xerox. It all came out of the Xerox Star. But of course, Xerox was a printing company.
Mm-hmm.
Does this make printers?
Right. How does
no.
this make us sell printers?
Well, we can make documents that you got to print, and that didn't go. It didn't work.
It didn't really. It's the DocuTech and the DocuCenter and all the other docus that they had and all of that stuff. This is I want this. After years of rumors, It looks like Samsung is finally going to show the world its first smartphone with a foldable display.
Oh, I saw that.
Over the weekend, Samsung Mobile changed its Facebook profile picture to one which shows the Samsung logo folded over on itself. It's now changed back, but for a weekend it was that way. Despite the folding phone from Samsung being rumored every year since 2013, including a Samsung-produced concept video in 2014, which you can find on YouTube, it seems like foldable phones are finally ready to become a reality. Earlier this month, a company called Royole, R-O-Y-O-L-E, announced the FlexiPi smartphone. It's very expensive, which it called the world's first very expensive. There's a comma in the number.
There is on iPhones.
Yeah, this is even high. This is a $1,300 phone, which it called the world's first commercial foldable smartphone with a flexible display. It looks like a real clunker, but these first-generation devices are usually the first step toward a more viable product. The promise of a foldable display is compelling. You fold the phone up when it's in your pocket or purse for a compact device that's about the size of a cell phone today, and when it's time to do some real work, you can open up the phone for a much bigger display. Phones with the display on the outside could have something like a traditional smartphone form factor when closed, which could open up into a tablet-like form factor. The biggest problem with bringing these devices to market usually revolves around the screen's durability. Folding an OLED display puts it under stress and will eventually damage it. The Royole can supposedly withstand 200,000 folds without damage, but even that's with a design that doesn't fold fully closed. It kind of curves around, leaves a little radius in there. Royole is cheating a bit by giving the display a very wide hinge to bend around, which puts the display under less stress. At their Samsung Developer Conference this week, Samsung offered a first look at the foldable phone, but if you blinked or looked away, you might have missed it. The foldable phone, easily the biggest reason people tuned into the company's annual developer conference, showed up courtesy of Samsung executive Justin Dennison, Justin, who pulled the device out of his jacket pocket and unfolded it. The stage lights were dimmed, and Dennison only showed it off for a little while after a flashy introductory video. The last rumor from Wall Street Journal claimed Samsung's foldable display phone would be out early next year, but remember, the rumor mill has been saying that for at least 5 years. Are you ready for a foldable phone? I know I am. Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299 or toll free at 1-800-790-0415.
Yeah, but that's true about anything brand new. You know, it's going to be the ultimate, high price newest gadget.
Yep.
And you give it another year and it'll be under $1,000.
And you look at it 2 or 3 years from now and you think, how the heck did they ever decide to use that junk?
Yeah, really. That's old school.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I like the one they used in the Andromeda TV show, that it was a cylinder,
I
like
love
a
that.
pencil, and you pull the screen out.
Yeah.
And that becomes your phone video screen and your computer terminal screen and everything else, and then you fold it back in, roll it back in. And so rolling a screen should be easier than folding a screen.
Well, yes, except now you've got to deal with that spring on the inside, and that's probably...
Well, it's just like other technology. One thing that didn't catch on was the curved TVs. But yet, you look at the price of 4K TVs now. I mean, 55-inch screens are under $1,000. But just a year or two ago... Yeah, but just a year or two ago, they were $2,000.
Years ago, I was buying breakfast at a bagel shop in town, and the guy on the cash register recognized me. He said, "I made a mistake." I said, "What's your mistake?" He said, "I bought a 4K curved screen TV."
3D?
Yes, 3D. Yes.
Everything.
I said, "What's the problem with that?" And he said, "Well, there's nothing to watch. One of the channels is showing fish."
Nice. You got a 4K curved HD 3D fish tank.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, except for sports, there's nothing to watch. I said, early days, man. Give it a chance. There'll be 4K stuff. It took a while, but we've got 4K DVDs and everything else now.
And that's always the problem.
A lot of movies now are coming out in 4K.
Yeah, right. The content producers don't want to go to the expense of making 4K content until people have 4K TVs, and people don't want to buy 4K TVs until there's content to watch.
That's exactly right.
I think Sony was including a hard drive with a bunch of their own movies when you bought one of the early 4K TVs, so you would have at least something to watch in 4K.
Right.
Because they're so big, they don't fit much on, even hardly on Blu-ray discs anymore. You need a hard drive. But now we're streaming them all.
When Blu-ray first came out, there were only 3 titles for it.
Yeah.
51st States, The Fifth Element, and The Terminator. But they were 3 of the most popular movies of the day, and so people bought them and fell in love with Blu-ray.
Well, it was interesting because Blu-ray and HD DVD were competing standards, and the HD DVD was more compatible with existing DVD devices, so it made them cheaper. But Sony had Blu-ray, and Sony has a big movie industry behind them, and they put it in the PlayStation.
That's the big one. You could buy a PlayStation, get a Blu-ray player cheaper than you could buy a Blu-ray player, and you got a game console with it. They sold a gazillion of them.
For a long time, people would buy a PlayStation for the Blu-ray player and never play any games.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. They sold a gazillion of them.
And a bunch of the studios were picking one versus the other, but I always got a kick out of Paramount. They went with both. And so they would send a disc. It was almost double thick, but one side was Blu-ray format and the other side was HD DVD.
Right.
And so it didn't matter. So Paramount sort of had the right idea. It didn't matter what player their customers had. This disc will work on it.
Right. We're agnostic. We just want you to buy our movie.
Yeah, I wound up getting Player One, and it came with just a regular CD, DVD to play the movie, and then also the 4K.
Yep.
So of course I had to watch both.
Of course you did.
And what a difference.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's been common for the last few years for especially the deluxe movie packages to have the regular DVD and the Blu-ray DVD
and the digital download.
Download. And now it's they're throwing in the 4K version as well.
That 4K for the Player One.
Although we're hearing the actors don't like 4K. Because it shows the blemishes on their skin.
Oh, it shows any
everything. The
potholes or
pot marks.
That's
why my wife doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Oh, because it shows so much detail.
Pimple. It's too real.
Yeah. Of course. And then there's my daughter. Dad, when you bought that movie, did you get the digital download too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I can't tell you the last time I bought a DVD now. I buy it all on Google Play, and it's a family deal, so all the family can watch it.
Yeah.
And so now Amelia's happy.
There's still an interesting advantage to getting the physical discs because you can rip it in whatever is the current format.
Yeah.
Assuming you can read that format.
Right.
Still.
So you keep an old computer around. So, we've got, CDs we ripped at MP3. And then AAC came out. All right, well, let's re-rip them as that. And then FLAC came out. All right, let's re-rip them as... I was just with a customer the other night. I've got thousands of songs in my CD library, 20,000 songs in MP3 format. How can I make them better quality? Re-rip them as AAC.
Yeah.
Well, I had thousands of discs. Yes, that's right.
Yes, you do, and that's the way it works.
There used to be services. There probably still is somebody that would do it. That you send them all your discs and they send you back a hard drive.
Yep.
Like $1 a disc or something ridiculous.
Yeah. But and you can also get programs that just every time they finish a disc, they pop the drive.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is sit there while you're doing something else.
Putting the next one in, which is tricky.
You have to put the next one.
I saw a thing that would do that with floppy disks.
Oh yeah.
So it would, especially on the Mac that had the auto inject and the auto eject.
Yep.
That was great.
Yep. There are DVD players that do that too. You put a stack in and DVD writers.
Yeah.
All right, that music tells us we've wasted an hour of our lives together, and it was a joy and a thrill. But we're not done. We're gonna do it again. So take your little bio break. Do whatever you do. Walk around a little bit, get the blood flowing, and then come back because we've got a whole nother hour of the longest running computer show in the known universe. We'll have Dave Enright. We'll have Steve Ray. We'll have me, Nick Francesco, and we'll have you. It is 59 minutes after the hour. You are listening to the longest running computer show in the known universe, and that show is Soundbites right here on the Truly Great. And truly grateful to you that we can continue to be member-supported Jazz 90.1. See you on the other side.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Soundbites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester. A public service of the Greece Central School District, Jazz 90.1.
On Instagram at WGMC Jazz 901.
It took more than 200 years to build Paradise, California, in just one day for a devastating wildfire to destroy it. Correspondent Dan Simon is there.
This is a community of about 27,000 people, and the entire town of Paradise is gone. Now, that's not an exaggeration. The entire town is gone.
3 wildfires have forced well over 250,000 people to evacuate their homes in California. The deadline has expired for all votes to be turned in to Florida elections officials for 3 tight races, including governor and U.S. senator. It's expected the results will be close enough that they will trigger automatic recounts. President Trump criticized French President Macron's call to develop a European army to take on a larger role in its own defense. But Macron says the U.S. and France are on the same page. The president's in Paris to observe the 100th-year anniversary of the end of World War I. I'm Mike Moss.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
Ski season is getting underway. Whether you're a city dweller or a nature lover, beginner or a pro, New York has a ski area perfect for you. In addition to challenging high peaks, scenic trails, and fresh powder, New York offers some of the most affordable skiing in the Northeast. And with 50 downhill ski centers spanning the state, there's a ski area for you just a short drive away. Plus, with a host of other attractions and seasonal activities, New York State is the perfect winter playground. For more information about New York State ski areas, dial 1-800-CALL-NYS. That's 1-800-CALL-New York State. Or visit the I Love New York website at iloveny.com. Another great season of skiing. Find what you love in New York State.
Swing all weekend, blues all week long. The Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues channel. Go to jazz901.org now. Click on the Swing and Blues button on the right-hand side, and instant swing and blues will be in your ears.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Jazz 90.1's live studio concert series continues with the Greece Athena High School Jazz Ensemble, performing a live concert Wednesday, November 14th from 7 to 8 p.m. from the Jazz 90.1 studios. The Greece Athena High School Jazz Ensemble, directed by Brian King, features 23 9th through 12th grade musicians. Be listening Wednesday, November 14th from 7 to 8 p.m. for the Greece Athena High School Jazz Ensemble, live on Jazz 90.1, or listen online at www.jazz901.org. The Jazz 90.1 live studio concert series features local musicians performing live from the Jazz 90.1 studios. Another great reason to support Jazz 90.1. The Greece Central School District is pleased to present Parent Universities, free informative programs that aim to empower parents as partners, advocates, and lifelong teachers in their child's education. The next university, open to all Greece parents, takes place Wednesday, November 14th at 6 p.m. and addresses disproportionality in education with guest speaker Dr. Emily Jones. The Parent University takes place at Greece Olympia School Cafe. For more information, you may visit greececsd.org.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bytes, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbytes.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 5 minutes after the hour, we are hurtling headlong into the second hour of the longest-running computer show in the known universe, Sound Bytes. You can give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299, or toll-free at 1-800-790-0415.
We were talking before the break about BitLocker encrypting SSDs. One of the issues when talking about encrypting SSDs is the way that SSDs write data. They randomly scatter data around your drive so that one spot doesn't wear out. So if you try to encrypt a drive that already has data on it, that data still may be there in a different spot on the drive. So you should encrypt the data on your SSD when you first get it, because after you load data on it, you can't be sure that it's all encrypted. And someone couldn't go through with forensic tools and find that old data.
Right.
In fact, we just saw an episode of MacGyver last night where...
Don't tell me I haven't seen it yet.
The plot is recycled computers don't get recycled. They end up in Ghana where kids weed through the garbage piles.
Right,
and, that's still true.
That's still true.
Some disreputable electronics resellers will ship it overseas because it's cheaper than breaking it down themselves.
Right.
Yeah, that's one good program. The other one I like on Friday nights is also the Blue Blood.
Yep.
Oh, Blue Bloods, yeah.
The way they pull off that series every Friday night, that at the end there that they tie it, and it's meaningful.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, that could be true.
I like how Magnum and Hawaii Five-0 have crossed over a couple of episodes because they're taking place at the same time.
Right.
But then we're watching 911 and The Rookie, which I think are on opposite networks, and they both take place in L.A. So when the Rookie people call for police or fire, it's not the 911 people that show up.
Right.
Because it's a different network. And actually, we looked into it. 911 takes place in the city of Industry. No, the city's name is the City of Industry.
Right.
There's only like, what they say, 200 residents in the City of Industry, but there's 100,000 workers.
Right.
Jobs in the City of Industry.
That is exactly right.
So we got a kick out of that.
The Rookie just got a full season.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, so that's kind of nice too.
We started watching it because of Nathan Fillion, but it's actually a pretty good show.
Yeah, it is actually. Pretty nice. I'm enjoying it. All right, to the phones. Our next caller is Nancy from Henrietta, New York. Hi, Nancy. What's up?
Hi. I have Windows XP. You were talking about Windows 95, how you could get that to work. I'm letting you know that you said something about Windows 95 working.
Right.
All right. First off,
I have
Nancy,
a Windows 98 and it stopped working.
All right.
Will it ever work?
Nancy, no, wait a minute, Nancy. Before we go any farther, if you would, we could hear the radio playing in the background.
Oh, okay.
And we're on delay, so that's going to if you just take a moment and just turn that down, and then we'll go ahead and answer your question.
Okay. Yep. I heard you say something about Windows 95.
Right.
You can get that to work.
Right.
I have Windows 98.
Right.
Will that ever work again? Because it stopped.
No. And here's why. Microsoft has, over the years, updated Windows regularly in order to bring new features and better features, et cetera, et cetera. But also their business model is selling Windows. So
okay.
They have no interest in keeping a 20-year-old version of Windows running, which is what Windows 98 is. The problem is, the thing I was saying about Windows 95 is that some other person, now that Windows 95 is unimportant to Microsoft or anybody else, They packaged it up as a toy and turned it into an app that you can run on Windows or Linux or Mac.
Windows 10.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
Windows 10. But it's not meant to be an operating system that you run on your computer. It's meant to be a novelty.
Yeah, if you have a 20-year-old computer and you still have a 20-year-old Windows 98 disk, it will work fine.
As long as the hardware still works.
As long as the hardware still works, yeah. But don't expect to be able to connect to websites. In fact, don't connect to the internet at all because there's so many vulnerabilities.
Right.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. You've already helped me about preventing Windows 10 coming on.
There you go. Thanks,
Thank you.
Nancy.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, so Windows 10 is okay depending on which 10 you get.
Right.
So it's like every new... So the 1803 seems to be not too bad now, but 1809... Apparently, 1809, we covered this story. You install Windows 1809, and it deletes your home folder.
Yes.
So all your documents are gone. Apparently, some of the insiders were complaining about that happening, and Microsoft didn't do anything about it.
Right.
So Microsoft updated their insider program so that when people report bugs, they can report the severity of the bug.
Right.
Why wasn't that in there before?
Because that would have taken 6 more seconds of some programmer's time to set that up.
A couple more lines of code.
Yeah, and in one of the press releases, they explained why it happened, that when you're installing an OS, it moves everything out, and then when it finishes, it moves it all back, and there was a bug, so...
It didn't move it back.
Well, it thought it moved it back, and then when it deleted what it moved out, it was deleting everything.
Right.
But so then they pulled back all the 1809 updates, and so you I don't think you can still get 1809 yet, even though we're in 10. So right. 1809 means 18 September. That's September 2018. So they're trying to fix these issues. So if you don't have 1809 yet, you probably don't want to install it yet.
Right.
Because of the bugs that come out. But in general, Windows 10 is okay, but it's different enough from Windows 7 that people don't like it. And it may need more hardware than you have. It may need more RAM at a minimum, if not a faster processor.
Well, that's where I've put on classic menu for a lot of folks.
Yep. Pull all the new stuff out and
right.
let it look
classic,
like the old.
Yeah, that classic menu just puts it back to the old Windows 7 look and feel. You've got your sidebar and the menus are still there. Because that's, for most of Windows, that's the way it's always been. Switching to that tile in Windows 10 was a bad move to begin with.
Well, that's because Windows 8 was nothing but tiles in the beginning. It was 8.1 that brought back menus.
Yeah, it was supposed to be for tablets and touchscreens. Well,
right.
not everyone had a touchscreen and wants giant tiles.
In fact, even today, not everybody has a touchscreen and wants giant tiles.
And even if you do have a touchscreen, you may not want giant tiles.
Well, especially in an office environment, because if you've got that on your desk and you're going to be constantly leaning over to touch the screen, I don't think so.
That's right. Although it becomes addictive. I was working with a friend of mine the other day, and we were working on a document together. She kept leaning over and touching my screen. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, that's right. It's not a touch screen." Right.
So Apple went in between. So now we have a touch bar on the keyboard,
right?
Instead of the whole screen, and companies are still trying to figure out uses for it.
Right.
So
it's a very clever idea.
Yeah.
Right now, it's semi-useless.
Yeah.
But that's not Apple's fault. It's not Apple's fault. They just don't know what to do with it yet.
A little ahead of their time.
Well, it's really neat if you deal with photos or video, because it shows you your thumbnails, it shows you your video waveform. You can scrub through it really easy. But one of the first things I installed on mine was Knight Rider. So I can get the little thing shooting back and forth.
Right, because that's, if you're going to have a toy, you might as well have a toy.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
It's not compatible with Mojave.
Man!
Burnout.
Yeah, so now I got to get a new version.
But, Microsoft doesn't, like I said, Microsoft doesn't make money if you don't buy the new version. And, of course, that's why they've been saying for 2 years now, I don't know where it is, but they've been saying for 2 years they're going to a subscription model. You don't buy Windows, you rent it. And as long as you keep paying for it, it keeps working, and you can get at all your documents and do all your stuff. But the minute you stop paying for it, it stops working. And if you don't have an alternative like Linux, you can't get at your stuff anymore.
Well, it's just like also their Microsoft Office. There's only so many features you can put into, say, a word processor or a spreadsheet, that type of stuff, and then you hit the wall.
Right.
You know, you just can't do it anymore.
Cylon is working.
There you go. Very nice.
And they've, and nothing new is coming down the road because a word processor is a word processor. And
right.
How much do you need to just type up a simple letter, or even if you're doing a book or anything else?
Well, we've got a customer that's doing a book, and they sent it off to an editor, and the editor turned on the track changes feature, left all of the original text in next to the changed text. And so now our customer isn't very computer savvy, doesn't know what to do, hates that track changes. Why did she leave the old stuff in? Why not just change it the way the editor thought was better?
Right. Right. Well, and it's interesting.
So there's too many features in Word now.
Right. I'm currently writing another book right now, and a friend of mine is helping me edit it, and we're now collaborating on that, and she was very excited.
As part of your challenge?
Yes.
All right.
NaNoWriMo. Yeah.
You're still keeping up with that.
Yeah, I'm a little behind.
All right. We were wondering.
Not just a little, just a few hundred words back.
Okay.
And the problem, of course, is Saturdays. By the time we get ready for market, and I come here and I come home, I don't really want to write on a Saturday, so I'm already 1,800 words behind every Saturday. So
that can't
life
be
gets
helped.
in the way. But yeah, so we're doing NaNoWriMo. For those of you who don't know, is the National November Writers Month. The challenge is to write a book, a 50,000 word book in 30 days. Notice nobody said a good 50,000 word book. This is really just to get you into the habit of writing every day. You write for 30 days. Anything you do for 30 days becomes a habit, they say.
Mm-hmm.
So you write every day for 30 days and it becomes a habit.
Unless you got sound bites on Saturday.
But
and of course, you're also
you all right there?
Working. What's the word I want?
Brain fart.
Contributing to Movember.
I'm always contributing to Movember. Every day of the year, I'm contributing to Movember. So we're doing this thing, and I showed her how in Google Docs we can collaborate, so we don't have to get together. We can be in opposite states. We can be at opposite ends of the country if we need to be, and we can both be editing the same document at the same time and chatting back and forth and making suggestions and doing all of that stuff. And she loved that idea. And of course, you can do much the same thing in like Office 365, but Office 365 at some point you're going to have to pay for, whereas Google Docs is free. So it's not a bad little product. And one of the things that I love, and I honestly don't know if you can do this in 365, but in Google Docs, one of the choices is File, Save As, EPUB. Boom, done. Ready to upload to Amazon, and it's published. Bang, it's now an ebook because you've got it in the EPUB format. It's automatic. That makes life really easy,
I guess. Yeah.
There's a whole lot of features in something along the lines of free that 99% of people don't need to pay for that Office suite because they're not using any of the pay features.
Yeah.
But people don't know that, and of course the interface looks a little different. That confuses a number of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that. But it's a matter of perseverance and paying attention and learning it.
Yeah, just take the time to learn. It's like anything else. Like you've said, you know how to drive a car. They just move the buttons around.
Right.
Same with word processors. There's basically doing word processing. You're typing up a letter or whatever. It's just that this feature, that feature, instead of being here, might be over there. It's taking the time to open up a document and just play around. Actually play around with it. You're not going to break it. And just try the different settings and everything else, the spell checker and just formatting and, whatever you like to do with it. It's probably it's there. You just got to go looking for it. Or there's usually always a good feature in most programs, just like they did away with the manuals. It's the thing called the help screen.
Right. And I turned on voice dictation the other day when the cat jumped into my arms, and I was able to continue writing while the cat was getting her worship for the day. We're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 20 minutes after the hour. It's Sound Bytes. It's member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Veterans, are you planning to file a VA disability claim? Get ready for a better way to file. The Decision Ready Claim Program gets you a decision within 30 days after it's submitted. That's just 30 days for the benefits and services you've earned. Talk to your accredited representative or go to www.benefits.va.gov/DRC to learn more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
Let's talk about America. Not taxes or tweets or the issues that divide us, but how incredible our country is. Whether you come home to a crowded city street or sleepy small town, everyone deserves to live in a clean, green, and thriving community. We are Keep America Beautiful, the nonprofit working with millions of people like you to end littering, improve recycling, and beautify communities. Learn more at kab.org. Together, we can do beautiful things.
3, 2, 1. Oh no. Which button am I...
When every second counts, you can't wing it.
Guys, a little help up here?
In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So make a family home fire escape plan. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year so everyone knows what to do when they hear... Prepare your family at ready.gov/firedrill. Brought to you by FEMA, the Ad Council, and Make Safe Happen.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Greece Odyssey Academy Music and Drama, presenting the Greece premiere of Disney's Aladdin Jr. at the Odyssey Academy Auditorium, 750 Maiden Lane. There are performances on Saturday, November 17th at 3 and 7 p.m., as well as a 2 o'clock matinee performance on Sunday, November 18th. Advance sale tickets are available at Wegmans or online at showtixforyou.com, and tickets can also be purchased at the door.
What do you call a station that plays swing all weekend and blues all week long? We call it Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues. If it sounds good, and it does, surf on over to jazz901.org and in the right-hand column, click on the Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues button. Instantly, you'll be deep in the blues or totally in the swing of things, depending on the day of the week. Swing all weekend, blues all week long. The Jazz 90.1 Swing and Blues channel. Take a listen now. Visit jazz901.org, then click the Swing and Blues button.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
These days, it's easy to have information overload. Sometimes I just want to kick back, hear my favorite music and the news that affects me. That's why I stay tuned into my local radio station. When important news happens in my part of town, I hear it from them first. For the best entertainment, sports, news, weather, and traffic, anytime, anywhere, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text RADIO to 52886. Furnished by the NAB and this station. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
And now your Jazz 90.1 weather.
A blast of wintry weather for western New York and the Finger Lakes this weekend, complete with lake-effect snow for the day today, especially west and southwest of Rochester. Accumulations on the order of 2 to 6 inches from western Monroe to Wyoming County, the highest amounts into Wyoming County. Everyone dealing with the chill with highs in the mid-30s, wind chills at times in the upper teens, and we'll have gusts of wind on the order of 40 miles per hour. Tonight brings patchy clouds and starlight, the overnight low in the mid-20s with a few flurries, some more flurries Sunday, variably cloudy. Highs in the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Currently, we've got some broken clouds out there, 35 degrees out at the airport, and 37 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, this is Otto Bruno. Join me every Sunday from 12 to 2 on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 25 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. It may be broken clouds out there, but...
Yeah, how do clouds break?
I don't know, but I will tell you this. Yesterday's weather broke me. I'll just say that right now.
So at least it waited until November.
There is that.
Yeah.
There is
None
that.
of the September crap.
Right. Xiaomi, Xiaomi, is known for its simple, inexpensive accessories almost as much as it is for its phones. And the company's latest effort is particularly eye-catching. AirPod-style wireless earbuds for about a fifth the price of Apple's AirPods. They're called Air Dots and feature much of the same functionality as Apple's product, including tappable controls and a compact charging case. Unlike AirPods, however, the Air Dots have silicone tips that could allow for better sound isolation and a more secure fit. I suspect that, it's Steve Jobs' ear or something like that. I cannot wear AirPods.
They said they laser scanned thousands of ears and came up with a generic average, which means it fits nobody.
Exactly right.
That one person who has average ears.
Right. It doesn't fit me. They fall out all the time. They're not a secure fit at all. The only ones I can really wear comfortably are the silicone tip ones because they mold themselves to my ear. So that's what Air Dots has. They also support Bluetooth 5.0 at a fifth the price of AirPods. It's very unlikely that the Air Dots will match up to the AirPods at audio quality or performance reliability, but honestly, for most people, that's not a problem. They're already just listening to MP3s anyway.
And when they break, you throw them away and buy another set.
That's exactly right. For what, $30 or whatever that is. But it's clear that the technology for wireless earbuds is going to continue to trickle down to the point where they could plausibly be included in the box with phones soon. Xiaomi itself is leading the way after announcing a $15 wireless charger earlier this year. It's now part of the package you get with the new Mi Mix 3 phone. And it does all the same functionalities, controls for up, and you just tap it and it does all that stuff. So it's very much a similar product. Cheaper, therefore probably lower quality. But for that, like you said, for that, it's a fifth the price. You can buy 5 of them for what it's going to cost you to get one of the others. So are you ready for an inexpensive AirPod-like product? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ, 966-5299, toll-free 1-800-790-0415.
But they're a bitch if you have hearing aids.
If you have hearing aids, you cannot use them. That's absolutely true.
A lot of the new hearing aids are Bluetooth enabled.
Right.
So your hearing aid is your Bluetooth headset for your phone.
There's some nuance. Yeah, you can get apps and that and put it on your phone and control.
And
right.
I hear ridiculous prices for hearing aids, $5,000.
Yeah.
And you get
that's usually for a set.
Yeah, you get a Bluetooth headset for $150.
Right.
But these are perfectly fit to your ear.
Right. They're perfectly fit to your ear. They actually make you able to hear, which is something that's worth a lot of money. But yeah, of course, phones nowadays don't come with jacks anymore. I ever get a phone without a jack, I'm going to need to buy the same kind of product. And frankly, instead of $150, I'd spring for $30 just to see whether that's all I need to spend.
And buy 5 of them to have in case you need them later.
Buy a couple pairs, keep them around. One's charging all the time. One's in your pocket. You go home and you switch them, and you're on your way.
Yep.
It makes sense to me. I see a lot of people. At RIT walking around with AirPods. AirPods? Yeah, AirPods. But every once in a while, I see somebody walking around going, "Oh, I lost it." looking around, checking their clothing, checking the floor. They've lost it somewhere because it just doesn't fit. That hard plastic
It
doesn't fit.
Yep.
All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is, in fact, our texting buddy, Jason from Altoona, PA. Hiya, Jason. What's up?
Well, definitely not the snow, apparently, from the pictures my dad sent from back home this morning.
Yeah, trust me, yeah.
Sorry, just had to rub that in.
Thank
You were
so
talking
much.
about the Bluetooth
You'll get there,
headphones.
mister.
What was that?
You'll get there, mister.
No, I'm sure I will, and I'll probably have it longer than, or at least after you guys do, too.
Right.
But well, you guys were talking about the Bluetooth headphones, and I just recently got into doing a little mountain biking down here.
Yeah.
And the thing that I chose to do was, because I've tried corded headphones before, to just listen to music and podcasts while I'm on the trail. And I found at, I think it was either Dollar General or Family Dollar, one of the cheap stores. I mean, they're nothing, you know, nobody's going to say, oh, this is P headphone to get. But they were like $20. They're Bluetooth equipped. They have play, pause, volume, up, down, next track controls on one of the earbuds.
Yep.
But they have the band that flips around behind the ear itself to hold them like the sports headphones do. And it's just a cord that runs from one side of your head to the other. Like I said, they were $20. They last probably, I'm gonna guess, based on my experience, the battery in them runs 4 or 5 hours before it needs a recharge.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're not impossible to find. And, you know, if some the cord gets ripped or I lose them on the trail or something, I'm out $20, but that's not a catastrophic amount compared to what I'm sure the Apple Pods are.
$150.
Oh, I don't think I paid that much for an actual phone.
Right. And like we said, the problem is because they're hard plastic and they're not fitted to your ear, the possibility of losing one is big, particularly if you're on something like a mountain bike, which is all jag. So, yeah, I absolutely understand that. And having the headphones you're describing, which cling to the ear and are only $20, and you could always add a clip to the back of your collar with the wire that runs across them. So even if they fall off your face, they don't fall off of you.
And I wear glasses, so I found it's not nylon, I can't remember the material. It's almost like wetsuit material, but not quite as thick.
Sure.
But it's designed to go over the arms on your glasses and to hold your glasses on your face so that while you're sweating, it doesn't slide off your face. Just wrap the cord around that a couple of times, so even if both of them pop off, they're hanging off your glasses too.
Yep, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, and that's what a lot of people are doing. People are still to this day very angry at the fact that their corded headphones have gone away. On most systems, there's no headphone jack. And yes, it is certainly easier and more convenient to just drape that headphone around your neck and plug it in when you need it.
Or just buy a dongle.
Or you could just buy a dongle.
Well, part of it, I also believe, it all comes down to price. I mean, Apple and now Google and Xiaomi and all the other guys, they're pushing these $1,000 phones, and while they spec out great, and I'm not going to lie, I drool over each announcement of what's coming out.
Me too.
The last 3 phones I've bought, not including my flip phone, which is my equivalent to a pager for work, but my actual Android phones, I haven't paid more than $40 a piece for them at Dollar General.
Right.
Well, why? Because it does more than what I need it for that device. I'm not about to spend $1,000. I'd much rather throw that in my massive desktop, throw Chrome remote desktop control onto that, and then take my Chromebook somewhere and remote in when I need the horsepower, even though I'm mobile. I mean, granted, that works for me, but just these phones I think they're getting out of control with the way they're doing it, but that's just my opinion.
Well, some of it is a prestige thing. You know, I can afford a $1,300 or $1,400 phone. And so look at me, right? But the other thing is people aren't, you know, if I can spend $1,000 on a phone or $500 on a phone, you got it somewhere in the back of your head. You think to yourself, "There's something not right with that $500 phone."
Yeah.
There's something better about the $1,000 phone, and in fact, there may not be for your use case, but it still nags at you because you're human.
And a lot of people don't even look at the price tag on the phone. They just see it's $40 a month. I can pay for that. Especially the differential. So the $500 phone, is $30 a month, and the $1,000 phone is $40 a month. Well, that must be a better phone. I'll get it. I got $40 a month.
$10 a month. It's not that big a deal.
What,
Right.
one coffee these days?
Yeah, right. Right. But yeah, so I agree with you, Jason. It's if you're the sort of person who buys a phone outright, then that comma in the number gives you pause. But if you're the sort of person like Steve is talking about who just throws the extra cost onto their bill every month, it's a much easier swallow. And I get it.
I can understand what you're saying, but also at the same time, I mean, Google Fi popped up out of nowhere, and these other aftermarket providers, they pop up all the time and disappear all the time. My concern is always, some deal may, tomorrow somebody may pop up and say, we're going to offer you no data, but unlimited text and phone call for $5 a month. I'm to that one immediately because I just need it for work. I'm literally on a 24/7, 365 leash for my employer. And
well, shouldn't they be buying your phone? Oh, sorry, I know. That's probably a sore subject.
It's a blue-collar employer, not a white-collar.
There you go.
But, I mean, like you were saying about the Prestige, the phone is a commodity.
Yep.
I want one that's going to do the job, and if I break it or if I'm on an airplane and for whatever TSA agent gets a burr in his behind and confiscates my phone for whatever BS reason he comes up with, now I'm out $1,500 as opposed to out $40 for something. I mean, the phone is too losable, too crackable. I mean, look at Bengate and all the problems people have with the screens and everything like that.
Right.
Put the money into something really show off. Buy a Tesla. Convince Tesla to make an e-bike.
Right.
Like an actual motorcycle e-bike is what I mean. But that would be where you want to show off.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
So, thank you guys for everything, and keep up the good work.
Have fun, Jason.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I completely agree. I have paired my phone with my car, and I understand the seduction of untethered Bluetooth music listening. But I have a system similar to what Jason has. I have a Bluetooth headphone that's over the ear. Apple's rumored to be making one, by the way.
Well, they have their Beats brand that has over-the-ear versions, and we're wondering if Apple's going to... So the Beats are usually black.
Right.
So, and Apples are usually white, so they're going to have an Apple-branded over-the-ear, which is equivalent to Beats.
Right. But I have again, got it at a dollar store, over-the-ears Bluetooth with mine's got a plastic connection around the back.
Oh, okay.
But, you charge it up in the morning, you walk around... most of the rooms, at least on the same floor in the house, and be listening to music without ever being anywhere near your whatever device is playing that music. So it's pretty nice, actually. Works out pretty nicely. But when I'm out and about, having that tethered connection, the earphones themselves. Again, you can buy them for $1 at a dollar store. So if, they last me 3 months or 5 months and I lose them or whatever happens to them, I don't care.
No biggie.
Right. I'll just go buy another pair. It's
Although
easy
the first time you catch that wire on something and they get ripped off your head, you really like wireless.
Right. Well, right. It becomes more convenient to have wireless. Of course, I wear them the right way. You hook the rope around your ear and stick it in from the top. And so they don't rip off all that easily at that point. But yeah, so it does make sense that somebody like Xiaomi is going to bring out a lower priced and certainly, yes, lower quality headphone, but it also makes sense that most people aren't going to be able to tell the difference. We're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 39 minutes after the hour. It's Soundbites. It's member-supported. Jazz 90.1.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbytes.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
The Greece Central School District is pleased to present Parent Universities, free informative programs that aim to empower parents as partners, advocates, and lifelong teachers in their child's education. The next university, open to all Greece parents, takes place Wednesday, November 14th at 6 p.m. and addresses disproportionality in education with guest speaker Dr. Emily Jones. The Parent University takes place at Greece Olympia School Cafe. For more information, you may visit greececsd.org.
What's small, attractive, and worth lots of money? It's the Jazz 90.1 member card, and now it's worth more than ever with the addition of 35 wineries to the list of restaurants, stores, and other businesses in the Rochester area, discounting prices exclusively to members of Jazz 90.1. You can even use your card when you travel in the United States. It's a great way to reward yourself, all while supporting Jazz 90.1. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Get one by making a pledge of support at the $90.10 level and above to Jazz 90.1. For more information on becoming a member, you can call 966-5299 or make a donation online at jazz901.org.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Greece Odyssey Academy Music and Drama, presenting the Greece premiere of Disney's Aladdin Jr. at the Odyssey Academy Auditorium, 750 Maiden Lane. There are performances on Saturday, November 17th at 3 and 7 p.m., as well as a 2 o'clock matinee performance on Sunday, November 18th. Advance sale tickets are available at Wegmans or online at showtixforyou.com, and tickets can also be purchased at the door.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is gonna help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth. A message from Truth, the Ad Council, and ONDCP.
Has your child swallowed your medicine, your laundry detergent, your nail polish remover? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you inhaled paint thinner, glue, pesticides? Call the Poison Helpline. Have a question about a dose, a fume, something your kid just drank? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
A blast of wintry weather for western New York and the Finger Lakes this weekend, complete with lake-effect snow for the day today, especially west and southwest of Rochester. Accumulations on the order of 2 to 6 inches from western Monroe to Wyoming County, the highest amounts into Wyoming County. Everyone dealing with the chill, with highs in the mid-30s, wind chills at times in the upper teens, and we'll have gusts of wind on the order of 40 miles per hour. Tonight brings patchy clouds and starlight, the overnight low in the mid-20s with a few flurries, some more flurries. Sunday, variably cloudy, highs in the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently, we've still got those broken clouds. I don't know what they look like, but anyways, the broken clouds, 35 degrees out at the airport and 37 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer problems? Get answers from the experts. Soundbites, noon to 2 Saturdays, only on Jazz 90.1.
Maybe we should listen to that.
Maybe we should. But let's do this instead. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 44 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. Listen, Dave, you're a hardware guy. If the clouds are broken, fix them.
But what part's broken?
I'm not the hardware
the cloud,
guy.
Obviously.
How many times have we said this? I don't do hardware. That's on you.
How do we know it's not a software issue?
Because it's broken, not...
Yeah, but it could be the program's broken.
Because I said so, and I'm the software guy.
And I'm dumping it back onto the software. I'm saying the hardware's working fine, thank you.
Right.
The sun came up, it'll go down tonight.
There is that.
Then the hardware's working.
My watch will even tell me that it goes down at 4:51 p.m.
See? The hardware's working.
That's right.
I like that meme that was going around just after daylight saving time changed. My gosh, it's so dark. It's practically you can't see anything out there. What is it, like midnight? Somebody looks at his watch. It's 5:30.
Yeah.
What, California was voting on doing away with it.
Yeah, Arizona doesn't do daylight
I know
savings
it.
time.
A lot of states
so
don't.
my daughter is now only 2 hours behind me instead of 3 hours behind me at this point.
Why we still do it is still beyond me.
I
think, what was it, back in the late 80s, we skipped a year of turning it back because of the energy crisis.
Right.
And, everything works
We seem to
fine.
have certainly gotten through that pretty well. I don't
Yeah.
know what happened there, but we did. Anyway, Google said on Thursday that it would end its practice of forced arbitration for claims of sexual harassment or assault after more than 20,000 employees staged a walkout last week to protest how Google handles cases of sexual misconduct. Workers at Google had called for an end to arbitration, among other changes, as part of the walkout. The protest was prompted by a New York Times article last month that revealed the company had given a senior executive, Andy Rubin, the father of Android, a $90 million exit package even after it found he had credibly been accused of sexual harassment. And the operative word there, of course, is credibly, as opposed to just accused. The shift was announced at a delicate time for Google. Apart from the scrutiny over its workplace culture, employees have pushed back this year over issues like artificial intelligence contract with the Pentagon and the company's exploration of a plan to relaunch its search program platform in China. The employee protests over harassment, which followed the hashtag #MeToo movement, have been Google's largest and most public. In an email to staff on Thursday, Sundar Pichai, the chief executive, said he was altering the sexual harassment policies because, as CEO, I take this responsibility very seriously and I'm committed to making the changes we need to improve. We will make arbitration optional for individual sexual harassment and sexual assault claims. Mr. Pichai also said that Google would overhaul its reporting process for harassment and assault, provide more transparency to employees about incidents reported to the company, and dock employees in their performance reviews if they do not complete sexual harassment training. You know that thing you do all the time? Stop doing it. The company did not address some other demands by workers, including that it make its internal report on harassment public and put an employee representative on the board. It does not include temporary workers, vendors, and contractors in the change. Google said it would still require suppliers to investigate complaints raised among contractors. So did Google do the right thing? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free at 1-800-790-0415, just like Tom did from Brighton, New York. Hi, Tom.
It's go ahead, caller.
Yeah, hi. How you doing?
Who's this?
Just picking up on your last call.
No, say your name again, please.
Tom.
Okay.
From Brighton, New York.
All right. I wasn't sure whether you got that one.
You said it right the first time.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
So your last caller was talking about, the earphones and the high price and the fact that they really what you're getting is a commodity item.
Right.
Days. And, I'm just struck by people's willingness to pay such high prices for things like that. I mean, it's a rather negative view to take, but maybe some people just have too much money. I don't know. They can't burn it fast enough. And it also strikes me there's a number of things that used to be prime items that were difficult to buy and expensive, things like high-quality monitors for your computer and high-quality color printers. And they've all become, we don't even discuss it anymore. Even on this program, they're discussed very little because they're so commoditized that,
right.
It's hard to believe it's maybe less than 20 years since these things were first introduced. They have become such low-priced items. But actually, the real reason I called is to congratulate you on your wonderful marketing program. I just got my package for the Jazz membership benefits package.
Mm-hmm.
I made my contribution like I'm supposed to, obviously.
Bless you, thanks.
But I got this package, and you're really making me feel very guilty because these are fantastic deals you're offering. More than multiple times the value of what the contribution was. And you might want to let your listeners know that they really can't pass this stuff up.
Yeah, it's a heck of a deal, and you're absolutely right. You know, we struggle to make our money every time we do a pledge drive, but the reality is you're getting a bundle of stuff for your cash. You really, really are.
I think it's a clever marketing. I think you're trying to make your listeners feel guilty, because when they get this thing, they're going to feel compelled to increase their contributions.
There you go. And, of course, you can do that online securely at jazz901.org.
You might want to give the phone number again.
And, of course, you can give us a call during the week now at 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. And those of you listening toll-free at 1-800-790-0415. Okay.
And great thanks to Joelle Van Buren, who puts together all those membership packets.
She's amazing. She is amazing.
In fact, she's probably here now doing more.
Probably is. You're not kidding.
So that's what I wanted to let you know, and thanks for the good job you guys are doing giving advice.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right. Have fun. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, we do a heck of a job. I have to say the station does an amazing job. And like I said, just the membership card alone, we double our money every year on that thing. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. But at any rate, he's also right about things like Bluetooth headphones and everything else. Much of these items have not yet become commoditized, and I think we're seeing that people don't. Well, certainly with Apple products, the XR is not selling that well, and that's essentially, and I put this in quotes, they're low end.
Yeah, it's sort of last year's phone,
right?
And people want this year's phone.
Right.
It's only $5 more a month.
Well, and that's just it. If they were actually having to spend $1,300 for a phone, there might be a certain amount of hesitation.
Yeah.
But when they essentially get the new phone for $5 more a month, they don't think about the fact that they're already spending $30 or $40 or $50. It's just $5 more a month.
And one of the things we're quite annoyed about is Apple announced they're going to stop announcing sales numbers.
Yep.
So we're not going to know how much they actually sell. We're going to have to go by estimates from usually market research companies talk to resellers. But I would almost imagine now that Apple corporate stores aren't going to be allowed to talk to marketers anymore.
Apple's corporate stores are certainly not. The other things that Apple is doing is they're putting more stuff in Amazon.
Yep.
They're going to be selling their more top-of-the-line stuff in Amazon nowadays as well, and that's...
And for most analysts, they didn't break it down enough anyway. They said we sold 100 million phones and 10 million Macs. Well, which of each?
Right.
We don't say that.
Right. And now they're just not going to say anything. And they're going to rely... And the reality is that that's partially because of their last earnings report. They made more money... That's good. But they sold fewer products. That's bad.
Right.
And, of course, that's because each product is costing 20% more.
The average selling price went up, yeah.
But that causes investors to think, well, if they're selling fewer products, maybe the company's dying. Because that's the way investors think.
For 20 years now, the company's dying.
The company's been dying for 20 years.
20 years ago, it
30
almost
really.
was. In the late 90s, it was dying.
Right. But yes, and that's kind of the point.
Dead yet. I'm feeling much better.
Right. Ain't dead yet. It's only a flesh wound.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a meme going around. The swear jar with 2 3/4 in it. The Monty Python reference jar with thousands of quarters in it.
Boy, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? But yes, and that's the point. You know, people have been predicting the death of Apple since the day Apple started. And it isn't dead, but that's still in people's head. And investors are nuts to begin with.
And their stock price dipped below $1 trillion. Their market cap.
Their market cap, below $1 trillion. I
think it's back over it now.
That's with a T, as in Tom.
Yeah.
It's back up again. But the point is that happened because they feared that Apple iPhone sales had reached their peak.
Yeah.
Apple is really considered a phone company now. They make phones. Oh, yeah, they do still make computers, and they still do make other stuff. But really what they sell are phones. And the minute they sell fewer phones in a quarter, investors get nuts.
Yep. Although they have said that if they split out Mac and iPad as separate companies, they would be Fortune 100 companies by themselves.
Yes, they would. There's no
But
question
compared
of
to
that.
the iPhone, in fact, they did
Right.
announce they sold their 100 billionth iPhone.
Yep.
But they only do 5 billion or 5 million Macs a month.
Right.
But 30 million phones a month.
Right. All right, that music tells us we've reached the end of another week. I want to thank everybody who called in, except Brian. I want to thank all of those of you who listened today. We'll be back next week, but don't go away, because George is coming in to play the best German music you'll hear all week. Michael's here to keep him on the straight and narrow, and you can just hang in there. Don't hold your breath, because it's going to be a week, but we will be back next week with a whole lot more of the longest-running computer show in the known universe. For Dave Enright, for Steve Ray, I'm Nick Francesco, and you've been listening, again, to the longest-running computer show in the known universe. That's Soundbites right here on the Truly Great, and truly grateful to you that we can continue to be member-supported Jazz 90.1. We will see you in just 166 hours.
If you're on the lookout for an hour of new blues and features, search no more. It's right here at